Blackout looms in Lagos as fire guts Egbin Power Plant. Field goal under fire over terrorism sponsors. Gunmen invade military camp in Niger. Now the details. The poor state of power supply is set to take a turn for the worse within Lagos and its environs, as one of the largest power-generating plants in sub-Saharan Africa, Egbin Power Plc, has been gutted by fire. Egbin is one of the operating entities of Sahara Power Group, which is an affiliate of Sahara Group. The plant has an installed capacity of 1,320 megawatts consisting of 6 turbines of 220 megawatts each. The incident occurred at its power plant on Wednesday, February 2, at 4:20 p.m. The news was contained in a statement issued by Egbin Power to its stakeholders and the general public on Friday. The power-generating firm said that the fire outbreak was successfully contained by a team of its firefighters in collaboration with firefighters from the Nigeria gas company at Egbin. It also pointed out that it has set out a process in motion to determine the cause of the fire incident, as it has temporarily suspended its operations in line with the plant's safety procedures. Egbin is also working with the Federal Fire Service, the Federal Ministry of Power and other stakeholders to review the incident. The management of the company assures the public that its technical team is working assiduously to restore operations. As the foremost power plant in the nation, Egbin remains committed to providing power innovatively and responsibly in compliance with good health, safety and environmental standards, the statement noted. In another news, field goal under fire over terrorism sponsors. Notable southern and northern socio-political groups, as well as some eminent Nigerians, yesterday lampooned the federal government over its claim that it had identified 96 financiers of terrorism, involving about 123 companies and 33 bureaus de change. They wondered why it has become impossible for the government to apprehend and prosecute. The list include Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, the Northwest arm of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Yoruba Political Group, Ofnafir, Pan-Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, Ohans Ndigbo Worldwide, aka IKNGA, the Middle Belt Forum, and Professor Tsege. Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, had made the claim in Abuja on Thursday. He had also said government had identified 26 bandits and 7 co-conspirators linked to financing of terrorism in Nigeria, among others. According to him, the discoveries were made by the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, between 2020 and 2021. He, however, did not name the alleged culprits, neither did he say what actions the government has taken against them. Reacting to the development, Ofnafir, Ohans, the MPF, some other socio-cultural organizations and senior lawyers accused the minister of filling his address with rhetoric and no substance. But the Yoruba Council of Elders, YCE, supported the federal government's move. No more stories, defeat terrorists, Ohans. National Publicity Secretary of Ohans Ndigbo, Chief Alex Sogbania, noted that Nigerians are tired of hearing about uncovering Boko Haram sponsors. Rather, they want to hear about total defeat of the terrorist organization. Government not showing sincerity, Ofnafir. Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Organization, Ofnafir, said the government has not shown adequate concern and sincerity in prosecuting the war against terrorism. National Publicity Secretary of the group, Jirije, noted that government officials have at different times talked about the efforts the administration is making at curtailing the menace of terrorism. He said, other than these occasional reports of bombardments of terrorists' camps by the military, no concrete steps are seen to be taken by the government to tackle the roots of the problem. Indeed, the failure of the government to act decisively in this respect has emboldened the terrorists to be more daring, leading to the death of thousands of people and capturing of many communities, particularly in the northern part of the country, by the terror groups. According to him, many Nigerians are gradually losing confidence in the federal government's claims on the war against terrorism, as many of the claims and promises made in the past were not followed up with necessary actions. Terrorists are protected by government. MBF. President of the Middle Belt Forum, MBF, Dr. Bitrus Pogu, accused Al-Haji Mohammed of being economical with the truth. He noted that, on the contrary, there are indications that suggest that the current administration is protecting the terrorists. According to him, the press conference by the minister was the usual, "We have done this, we have done that," claims that end up not naming the terrorists and their sponsors. He noted, "One thing we know is that we have a government that accused President Goodluck Jonathan when he was in office of killing their people. When Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima was the army chief, they accused him of killing Northerners out of vengeance for what happened during the Civil War, so Jonathan changed him. Then when the mercenaries were brought in from South Africa, they were doing the job and dealing with the terrorists, and this president said they were killing his people. So, the question is, who are the people of the president?" Pogu said that though all the locations of the terrorists are known to the administration, it has not taken any action against them or done anything to end the insurgency. On how to end the cycle of terrorism, he advised that the government should make public the list of the alleged sponsors and let the accused defend themselves, even as the military should be unleashed without hindrance on the terrorists. It is crass propaganda, aka Ikenga. Making his view known on the matter, a lawyer, Chief Gadi Wasser Uwike, former president of aka Ikenga, and Igbo Intelligentsia Group, tagged the press conference a display of crass and unmistakable propaganda. He recalled that about 2 years ago, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, convicted a Nigerian for financial ties to his weapon Boko Haram and relayed all information pertaining to the case, including names of those involved, to the federal government. But it did nothing until the UAE broke the news. He noted that Lai has carved a niche for himself in saying a lot and saying nothing new. It's just all smoke and no substance. Like others, he accused elements in the Nigerian government of shielding the terrorists. On whether the government should prosecute those allegedly identified, he answered in the affirmative. He is, however, afraid that fall guys may take the fall while the actual financiers are allowed to walk free. Release list of sponsors, financiers, ACF, Can Northwest Zone. The Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, as well as the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Northwest Zone called on the federal government to release the list of sponsors and financiers of Boko Haram and terrorists if its claims were to be believed. National Publicity Secretary of ACF, Emmanuel Yaw said, "If the field goal says it knows the people organizing Boko Haram, what is stopping it from naming and prosecuting them? We have always called on the government to reveal the identities of the terrorists who have done so much damage." When the Zamfara State Governor Bello Matao said he knew them, our chairman, Adu Ogbi, said he should reveal their names and let the heavens fall. At the time we thought he had some earth-shaking revelations to make. Later, he named some humble people who couldn't have organized the terrorism on the scale we have seen in this country. The Secretary, Northwest Zone of Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and former spokesman, Northern CAN, Elder Sunday Oyaib, added, "If it is true that the field goal is in the know of the sponsors of this evil against Nigerians and the Nigerian state, we are not interested in being told this story. Let the government go after them and make her findings public. The purpose of government is to solve problems and not to be telling stories. With all the instruments at government's disposal, we demand more result-oriented actions against terrorists, kidnappers, bandits, Boko Haram and every criminal elements troubling the soul of this country, including their sponsors and sympathizers, no matter how highly placed they may be. Government must do everything to stop this madness against the state. And as citizens, we must stand together against this evil." Professor Tsege, Chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, said there is no reason the names of people who have committed the worst crimes against humanity in Nigeria should not be announced or their faces paraded. "I agree with those who are critical of government's silence on this matter," he told Saturday Sunday. "These people should be made known to the whole world because they have subjected us to much fear, humiliation and pains. We want to know them. So, I agree with the majority of Nigerians who are now crying out, insisting that the people should be identified and prosecuted to our knowledge and there must be no secrecy about this. Why the government is not announcing the names of those that have been identified as supporting and sponsoring terrorism is what I can't just understand, because when all these Yahoo boys do things, they are brought before the camera. When people commit all sort of crimes, their names are mentioned and their pictures splashed all over the place. SPAC's field goal over non-release of names. But in a marked departure from positions held by others, the Yoruba Council of Elders, YCE, asked Nigerians not to criticize the federal government over the non-release of names of alleged sponsors. The group's Secretary-General, Dr. Kanlo Lajide, who made the disclosure during a telephone conversation with Saturday Sun on Friday, noted that the federal government might suffer legal consequences over such a move. He noted that the statement made by the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, would have unsettled the sponsors, even without mentioning their names, adding that the field goal must have done further investigation on the matter. He urged Nigerians to be patient with the government in its campaign against crimes, especially insurgency and terrorism. In another news, gunmen invade military camp in Niger. For the second time, gunmen have attacked the military camp in Lawa in Rafi local government area of Niger State. The gunmen reportedly went away with a vehicle belonging to the military. The gunmen, numbering about 200, allegedly invaded Alawa town about 10:00 p.m. on Thursday and made straight to the military camp, where they reportedly engaged the soldiers in a fierce gun battle which lasted several hours. According to a source close to Alawa town, there were casualties on both sides, but details of the actual casualties was still sketchy at the time of filing this report, even as nobody could go in or out of Alawa town. A number of the villagers were equally caught in the crossfire between the soldiers and the gunmen, leaving the entire town deserted as the villagers have escaped to the bush. This latest onslaught by the gunmen came barely 1 week after a similar attack targeting the Joint Security Task Force camp at Galadaman Kogo led to the killing of 11 members of the Security Task Force and an unspecified number of civilians. Houses, food barns, vehicles and other property worth millions of naira were burnt down by the gunmen. In April last year, gunmen had invaded the same military camp in Lawa, killing 5 soldiers and an inspector of police. This led to the shutting down of the camp by the military. It was reopened a month later, with more deployments of additional troops to the area. In another development, gunmen on more than believed to be about 300 and riding on about 100 motorcycles, invaded Marigo town in Marigo local government area of the state and rustled over 300 cattle.